An engaging and persuasive CV increases your chances of being invited to an interview. So how do you know if your CV fits into that category? Well, in this video, I will share 4 simple tips that will make a dramatic difference to your CV. So keep watching if you're building your CV for the first time or you're finding that your current CV is not getting you job interviews. If you're new to my channel, I'm Amri Celeste, an HR recruitment specialist and a career coach with over 9 years hiring experience, and this channel is dedicated to helping you on your job hunting journey. So first off, it's important to remember that there is no one way to prepare your CV. If you're a graphic designer, your CV shouldn't look the same as a CV for a technical engineer. But if you want to be selected in a pile of many, there are a few things that you absolutely must pay attention to. First thing to be aware of is that the person looking at your CV is almost very likely looking at hundreds of other CVs. Most recruiters look at anywhere between 50 to several hundred CVs every single day, so you want to make it easy for them to pick yours. First up is layout. Seems like a small thing, but I'll explain why it's so important. So you've probably heard that recruiters spend 3, 7, 10 seconds looking at your CV, and I can confirm that this is fairly accurate. Recruiters often have hundreds to look through, so if your CV is structured in the way that I'm about to show you, then you'll be making sure that those important things that will get you shortlisted are in the place where the recruiter will be looking for those 7 seconds. You want to make it easy for the recruiter to see your career history, so those key areas need to be easy to find. I'll show you using a made-up CV. The style and format of your CV doesn't need to look like this. It's just an example to show you which order things need to be in. So at the top should be your name and contact details, then your professional summary, also called a personal profile. Next, you have your key skills, which are relevant or role-specific skill sets that you have that can include certain types of systems experience. Then career history, then your education, hobbies if you choose to include them, then references on request. I don't recommend including your references here because unfortunately some agencies can actually use them as sales leads, which means that they will contact your references to try and get more business or contact them prematurely. I want to be clear that this is not all agencies. As someone who's worked in HR for a long time, I've worked with some absolutely brilliant agencies, but unfortunately there are a few bad apples. So I recommend only giving references at the point of a job offer or beyond that step. Regarding skills and hobbies, feel free to include a few honest hobbies. Don't say you like mountain climbing if you don't. The manager may ask you more about it if it's something that they like, and then you'll be stuck. Also, don't go into too much detail or include anything inappropriate. And make sure that you familiarize yourself with whatever you include in your CV. I talk about the importance of knowing your CV in an interview in my video on the top 3 reasons that candidates don't get hired. I've included a link to that video in the description below. So pretty simple, right? 5 main sections in that order means that your key points are at the top and the things that are not as immediately important, such as your hobbies, reference statement, etc., are at the bottom. Quick bonus tip on your career history and personal summary. Keep them relevant to the role you're looking for. This means you need to be clear on the job you want and then make sure that your CV reflects that. I can't tell you how many CVs I've seen for something like a marketing exec position where the profile or personal summary says that they are a dedicated researcher, or a CV for an HR assistant that says that they're a motivated sales exec. So get clear on what you want and then it's 10 times easier to know what to include in your personal profile. That being said, you don't want to go overboard, trying to match every single point of the job you want. Remember, you're not going to meet 100% of the job description, so don't worry about trying to force your CV to meet every single area because it's very rare that a candidate would meet every single requirement. And lastly, include your achievements on your CV. Make sure they're related to the job you're going for and include examples. So what type of achievements should you be including? What key skills should you include? And what do you do if you don't have experience? I've created a winning CV guide, which is a walkthrough guide of how to build your CV. It includes examples of key skills, what to do if you don't have experience, and important detail regarding CV structure. It even includes an example CV, and you can download that in the link below this video. Career history. Always make sure that your CV is in chronological order. This means that your most current or recent role is at the top. I don't recommend using unconventional CV structures, so don't put anything like your hobbies or your education or why you think you're the perfect candidate at the top where your career history should be. Stick to chronological order because this is what the recruiter or hiring manager will be looking for. Length. Keep it to 2 pages. Any recruiter, being brutally honest, will admit that sometimes when you open a CV, your heart can sink. When it's 6, 10, 15 pages long, you want to assess that person fairly, but it's a lot to read in the midst of hundreds of others. If you don't have a lot of experience or a longer career history, it's easy to keep it short. If you do, it's a little bit harder. So if you have a longer career history, sometimes it can be tempting to give detail on things that you're particularly proud of or that you want to share, but are not relevant to the position. I myself have a 17-year career history, but when I applied for jobs in HR, I didn't go into detail about my sales career or the 3 years that I spent as a nursery nurse. The recruiter doesn't want to know about this in any extensive detail. They want to know what's relevant to the job they're assessing you for. So here's what to do if you have a longer career history. Abbreviate the key points of your most relevant positions. Cut down anything irrelevant to 2 comprehensive bullet points, maybe 3 if it doesn't take up too much space. Then for the relevant positions, you can go into more detail because the person shortlisting will want to know more about your relevant experience. Are you finding this helpful so far? Let me know your best takeaway in the comments below, or if you're building a CV, let me know what you're finding the most challenging. Quick bonus tip regarding gaps in employment. I know there is some apprehension around what to do if you have a gap in your employment, but many recruiters know that people are human beings and take time away from work to have children, for mental health, or for a host of other reasons. However, unexplained gaps can hurt your chances, so do include an explanation. It doesn't need to be long, just a line or 2 explaining what you were doing really helps. In order not to make this topic overwhelming, I've split it into 2 parts. So next week I'll be covering 4 common mistakes that you absolutely need to avoid on your CV. So to recap, make sure you follow the recommended layout to make sure that your key areas aren't missed in the 7-second window. Include relevant achievements so potential employers can see what you bring and examples of how you've done this in the past. Keep your career history in chronological order. Keep it to 2 pages, and if you have a longer history, shorten irrelevant roles to 2 or 3 points. Explain any gaps in your employment. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Tap like if it was, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon.